Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement and we give our thoughts, we give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Helldivers 2. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, I'm ready to do this for democracy.
And, of course, my name, Anthony Ragucci. And joining us for the first time in a little bit, the cream to DNN's Oreo, Matt Penza.
Yo. What is up?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We
my
were
friend.
talking.
Marines.
Yeah, fellow squad mates.
Absolutely.
The last time yeah, except for me. The last time you were here was Forbidden West. It's been a while.
What?
And
When
you
was Forbidden
weren't
West?
on that.
Yeah.
I think you got.
I didn't get it because I
No,
just,
no.
I don't think,
I don't know if you were sick, but like
Oh,
you
right, 'cause
definitely weren't there.
yeah.
But I don't know why you weren't there.
Interesting.
But yeah,
that was a while ago, like a year.
At least
2 years.
That's what I
probably,
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been on
2
since
years.
then. Fuck.
Yeah, because that was probably like
I was sick for something in between. too.
Maybe that was it.
you
Yeah.
got Deathly
Was
Hallows
it-
Part 1. You had to leave.
Right. But
Yeah.
was that in between
No,
that?
but there was something else you guys were filming. I was sick. I couldn't make it.
I think so too. That sounds familiar to me.
I don't know.
you would know better than I. But anyway, we're here to discuss the stealth hit that is Helldivers 2. Not exclusive to PlayStation, but a console exclusive, also on PC. And man, this game has been taking the internet by storm. I haven't played it. Trio's playing it on PS5. You're on PS5 as well, so no PC perspective. So sorry. Here we have a PlayStation bias. But guys, fucking tell me about the wars. What's going on? Hell, tell me about your dives. Get into it.
We were like talking a little bit before, just like, yeah, it shouldn't be like we're really only gonna be talking about gameplay because there kind of is no story.
No.
It's like
the stories are what you make.
Absolutely. This
Yeah,
absolutely
pretty
for
much.
sure. I mean, it starts off with the little
Okay,
intro
yeah,
movie.
it starts off with its little intro movie,
Yeah.
and it is the best facial mocap I've ever seen in a video game. I think, which is like,
But it's
bizarre.
not. But again, I don't think it's in engine. It's like a cut scene, right?
I guess, but
it
it
is wild looking.
pretty
It
random.
does.
It is the best like is the best CGI or whatever the
it's a
hell they're
pre-render.
using.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. That makes sense.
It is the best like non-human face animations I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I've
it's
seen
funny because it's just in this game that's like
It's random.
has no story.
Yeah. But again, I'm curious if you get like that good looking of a face in like a real time engine, like a real time cutscene. Like that's the only. But either way, it does look fucking fantastic, and
Yeah.
it nails the tone of what you're getting into.
So you get like a brief idea of like what's going on,
Yeah.
the wars you're fighting, and then
Yeah,
you
and
get
the
the
whole-
very light
The
lore.
whole game is very like satirical.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
everything in the not that's like in your face. They're like the I guess it's the commander that you talk to at the right. Is that the guy who's right by the war table?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say anything. Like none of those NPCs say anything really satirical. But then like they show commercials on the TV
Yeah.
that are satirical. You go into the store and there's you look at like you get credits throughout their like battle pass thing.
Some different
right?
currencies.
We'll get into that. But and then you can buy like some armor and pieces in the next section, and there's like funny
Reviews
underneath and stuff like that like aren't like real person reviews. It's just
Yeah.
reviews they put in the game.
Right.
It's like my wife hates it, but she's not a problem anymore, or something like that. Like something
one
like
of
that.
them was like
But it's for democracy.
Yeah.
so it's
like
fine.
removed for suspicion of like whatever.
Yeah.
Like
The hints underneath,
or review under
not
review.
being democratic.
There's hints underneath when you're dropping. It'll
Like,
be
I mean,
like, be
like-
sure to take breaks if you're a pussy or something. Not that specifically,
Yeah,
but
if you're
basically,
coward.
But like
yeah,
you
if you're
know,
a
like the
coward.
super Earth, like
Yeah.
like
No, I mean-
you know, I kind of took it as like, oh, like you know, the world is like kind of like really extra, but like the fighting is really.
I mean,
serious,
are you
know?
familiar with Starship Troopers at all?
Like yes,
Very
but-
vaguely, because of
yeah.
this, maybe even because I feel like it's definitely
Yeah, I
been
mean, I've
proliferating
seen
now.
Starship Troopers, not in a long time, but
So,
yeah, that's the vibe.
I mean, yeah,
for
if
sure.
if anyone has watched that, it's that tone. I mean, to a T. Like it's like super propagandistic, very weirdly like hyper, nationalistic society that has super fascistic elements. But they're not. It's just a joke,
Right,
and it works so
it's
well for like the
set
tone.
as setting and
Yeah,
environment
and
for-
you're taking back these planets for Super Earth, and you're defeating the Terminids or the fucking robots, and that's basically all you. Yeah, the automatons. That's basically all you need to know lore wise per se. They drop you in. They give you like a quick tutorial at the beginning, which is so. There is a funny part. I don't know if you saw it on the wall. There's the contract for the Helldivers. And it goes through the whole thing about how it voids, and then it's like, at the end, it's like, by reading this contract, you have already voided the contract and it will now be terminated. So, like, it's saying like you shouldn't have read this. Like, that's the whole point. But it is really funny in that way. And I mean, all the voice acting's great when you hear the crazy shit going on. But I mean, this game's gameplay is king.
Yeah, it is. The gameplay is awesome, and I'm like a sucker in multiplayer games or like really like any shooting game. I'm a big looter shooter.
Sure.
A game where I can like kind of grind and like, oh, I got a drop here. Oh, what kind of is it? It's a gold drop. It's a rare drop. Blah blah. There's like none of that in the world.
No.
You just hop in and you're just killing bugs. You're killing automatons. Your objective this time is set off the ICBM, and there's
sub objectives.
Depending on your difficulty, a certain amount of sub objectives, and you got to kill some bug highs. If you're on an autonomon planet, you got to kill. I guess they're like
factories.
factories.
Yeah, like it's like producing them. Yeah.
And it's just a loop, and you have like 40 minutes like each time to get it through, and just like it's a loop that just never hasn't felt.
It hasn't gotten boring yet, and that's hard to do, I will say. And I think I'm, me, Gooch, I'm a solitary gamer. I don't get into these multiplayer games that often.
It's people.
I hate everyone that I speak to.
Doesn't have friends.
But I'd like you guys enough to do this. But it really does draw me in, I think, especially with the PvE aspect of like we're working together.
It's not PvP.
And even without mics, like I'll play by myself. Like people are pretty good.
Yeah.
So there was one night. There's a setting for the mic that's annoying. You can have it as like push to talk, or you can have it as always open or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I had it on for while I was talking to everyone, and I turned off my console and went to bed the next night, and I started playing the next day. And I'm playing with 4 random guys. Just in the middle of the day, and I'm like, God damn it, what the fuck are these idiots doing? They're running the wrong way.
No way.
And I hear, as soon as I say that, I hear, dude, I'm trying, man. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, dude, I'm trying. I'm like, wait, can you hear me right now? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what we're doing. I'm like,
funny.
oh,
I'm sorry.
I was like, no, sorry, man.
Fuck you.
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
I was like talking to the ether right now. I didn't realize, but
yeah.
I've had some really good luck with just getting in the games, and like there's a lot of great mechanics that allow you to ping objectives and to communicate without having a microphone on. And I think that really is a key aspect. And like you said, it doesn't get stale. The objectives are mixed up enough to the point where I don't feel like I'm doing the same thing too often. Like, don't get me wrong, you're definitely going in, of course, and doing some similar missions over and over again. But
like, I mean, to drop
each new experience,
to drop like the 500 kilogram bomb on a Bio Titan feels fucking awesome every single time you do it.
And the coolest part
Like,
is
it's never gonna get tired.
I totally agree. And one of the even cooler elements is that like I think the biomes really are so vast and different that it makes the same mission on different planets feel vastly different.
I can't believe like how good this game looks.
I agree.
Like each planet like looks unique and different, and like it like the way
You talked about the
lighting-
skyboxes.
There's
sky
super
boxes.
foggy areas, whereas
It's
you're
like, it
dealing with
just
a
looks
lot of
incredible.
environmental, like on certain planets, there's these like puffers that if you step on it explodes and it slows you down and it fucks you up. And there's also other environmental things on like more fiery planets, like you'll get hit with some type of fire thing.
I'm assuming they're all
Well, I think they're all seeds because I definitely played on the same map twice. So I think
you'll see like similar like here's a question mark.
Yeah.
Like, all right, whatever. Like I've seen this 20 times.
No,
but
for sure. But I definitely have played on like the same exact like biome and map before. I think they have enough to where it's like I'm sure they have specific biomes. They have maps set up for those biomes. There might be like ways that it kind of procedurally generates them together. But again, it keeps you guessing, and you really kind of start out with the Terminids, I feel like, as the kind of starting enemy, I feel, to get you into it. Yeah, because they're really so satisfying to kill. Like the crunch you feel when you're just mowing them down, and the gunplay is amazing.
And you
yeah.
rip off some of its armor that's on it, like its armor shell, and then you get to the meat underneath and start shooting that.
It's so
like,
good. You'll have like an army of like the small guys coming over a hill, and you're like, fuck, you're with your machine gun, like, like... I've never felt so like badass in a video game. Truly, I don't know how they captured this so well.
And the matches are like 20 to 40 minutes long,
depending.
However long you want. Like if you want to
40 is the
maximum,
maximum. It seems. Yeah.
So I actually got to one. I was on I think Suicide the other day, which is I don't know maybe 7 or 6 out of 9 or 10 difficulties. I forget.
10 difficulties. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess they having a range with like not just 4. It's kind of
they start the
important
automatons especially
to give you some variety. It's like as you like work your way up and get more and more familiar.
But we were running a mission and we're knocking everything out, and something happened where like we got to the end of the main objective and we dropped the thing off, and I thought we were done because it was like objective complete.
Yeah.
Then we had to go to the thing and type it in, and I started running like across the map to the what's it called? Extraction point.
Yeah.
And I was playing with 4 randoms. I just hopped in quick play, and then one guy was following me too. And I hear the messages from the other guy, and they're like, "Guys, what the f? Come on!" And I was like, "Oh shit, we need to launch this." So we had to run all the way back, and I started running there because we had like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 minutes for the extraction once you call it in to get in.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like hold fort for 2 minutes.
Right.
So we set the thing off. We have like 2.5 minutes to get there. We run all the way there. We set it off, and the timer goes off. And I was like, I don't know what the hell happens when the timer goes off. So all that happens is like you can't call in stratagems or anything like that. But
So if
still
you
have the
call
2
your
minutes.
Stratagems are like kill streaks.
They're kill streaks. They're the sentries, like the Gatling gun sentry, like the automatic, like the
right.
mortars.
They're in match
They're
progression.
kill streak. Yeah,
But they're
like,
also like you can't call in a resupply. You can't call in a resupply your ally. Like once it's down, it's like
so yeah. You have a 40-minute time limit on the mission. Once that 40 minutes is gone, the Star Destroyer or whatever leaves atmosphere, so it can't launch any more stratagems. But can you, as long as you call your extraction before the timer's out, you can, or can you extract even once the timer's done?
No, you can extract after the timer's done.
But like you can call for extraction once the timer's done. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, that's interesting. So yeah, then you don't have any stratagems. And I will say,
I think we did.
See, that's
I
I
know
thought
that it
the
went
idea
out.
is once it like if you can call extraction before
I
it
think
leaves.
we did call it in after.
After?
It
Okay,
was
that
like
makes
by
sense.
like 15 seconds, but still.
Gotcha. But yeah, so those are in there. The only difference from like a kill streak gooch would be that like you need to get a certain amount of kills to get it. These you just have. They're on timers. So like
Right, so they're cool.
the resupply, exactly.
Yeah,
You call in a resupply, that's one for the entire team. That is a 2-minute cooldown. You call in a rocket barrage that has a certain cooldown for you, but you don't need to like kill a certain amount of people to get it back. Do you have a certain amount of like certain things that you can call in? I think you have unlimited, right? Until it goes
Not
up.
all of them. I know like
Certain ones have limits on like you can only call in 5 per
the
or something.
like the lasers. You have like 3
Right.
per game, or maybe then you have to resupply the entire thing.
Gotcha.
I forget how it works, but like as you upgrade the ship, ship, you get like more of it. That's another part of the game. Like you upgrade your ship. So you
That's
can,
what all
like,
these currencies you're getting are for. Like you're
No,
collecting.
what,
well, I'm sorry, the samples.
Yeah, the samples.
You collect samples on each mission. So just for a broad overview of the objective, like we said, you land on a map. You have a main objective. There's these red splotches all around the map, which are either a automaton creation factory or a terminate hideout. You can take those out as side objectives, or you can just leave them and go to your main objectives.
Right.
The ICBM one is like you land.
So does not doing the side objective affect that mission, or just affect your rewards?
Rewards.
Yeah, the rewards.
So you
Right,
won't get
yeah.
as much XP. The idea is you won't
Right.
get a glorious victory. You can get 1 through 5 stars out of a mission.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, like the ICBM one, you land. You have to go to the sub objective first, which is get the launch codes. Then you go to the ICBM. You have to set up the ICBM. You have to click the frickin' the screen or whatever. Jeez, I'm forgetting. Not tablet, the console. So there's a lot of like console interactions, and like a lot of that stuff is very interesting. You have to unhook the like latches because they're jammed. Very involved, much more involved than I would have expected.
Cool.
And then
It kind of seems like Battlefield's Conquest mode taken
Yeah.
to like the nth degree. I always liked Conquest. I mean, at least in, I don't know how it is in 2042, but in 1 and 4, you know, you just kind of have these like terminals that you progress to, and you like capture the locations and then kind of advance forward on the map. But I always like that idea of like a multiplayer map with like a story. And I know like Titanfall technically did this, and the game kind of reminds me of Titanfall, because like Titanfall, not 2, but Titanfall 1 didn't have a story, and the campaign took place within the multiplayer matches. Not that this is exactly the same, but you know, I guess they are telling somewhat of a narrative in this world.
yeah, you're like you're
multiplayer
liberating,
matches.
you're saving them, or
And
you're taking out something.
Right, and again, like I was saying, like through like I think that, you know, whether this was the intent or not, but you know, players' stories are kind of
it's the moment-to-moment gameplay for sure.
right.
And,
Is the lore or
Right.
the story, the experience you're having, and yeah, like doing maps where you're like pushing objectives like that, I think is really cool. Like
Right.
you still don't really see that. Like Overwatch doesn't really have that per se. I mean, they do have their own conquest mode, but like it's like it doesn't feel like Battlefield where it feels like you're fighting like a war,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah,
you're
no.
pushing against
And then-
the enemy. It's not the same.
but then so also we are getting like samples on those maps, which are the things that those are part of the objectives, and that's what Penza was talking about. Those are like used to What can they upgrade?
They can upgrade, all of your stratagems from, like the weapons you call in, like the special weapons you call in to, like they have the eagle, like the eagle type bombs are like a certain type. Then they have like the orbital bombs are different than the eagle type bombs. And like, so you like can upgrade each one separately, and then it might like reduce the cooldown by a certain amount of time, or, increase like the size of it just upgrades the stratagems that you call in.
So like it'll call stuff in faster, or like you can call more of
Yeah,
them even,
and
maybe.
obviously to like upgrade them to the highest, there's 3 levels for each. To upgrade them to like the highest ability, you gotta do the higher difficulty stuff to get the more rare.
The super
samples.
rare sample or something. And then even with those samples, I know there was a glitch running around for a bit that people were running into that was I guess annoying people, understandably. Obviously, having this game on computer makes it a lot more breakable, and I think that's and I think in general that's just right for games. But people were, I don't know how they were cheesing samples, so you'd like get out of a mission with like 1,000 samples.
Damn.
And like it ruins the grind. And it's like, all right, well, I have all this stuff. I don't
you're
really
max
need
progression.
on these things. So it kind of was fucking people over. I don't know how much of an issue they were having. I also know that there was a problem like with the anti-cheat that they use on this. People were having issues with. I watched like a video on it where for the computers anyways, and it's apparently not even stopping it's like a very invasive anti-cheat, but it's apparently not even really stopping the cheating.
If you're cheating in Helldivers too, it's like
What are you doing? Yeah,
it's PvE.
exactly.
Right,
I would find it somewhat annoying.
No, like anything, you're just playing.
Right. It's a different kind of cheat, even though it's cheating. You were talking about issues. Obviously we got to bring it up, but it does seem like we're on the other side of the fence of the server issues.
Yeah.
It seems like they're
yesterday,
good and gone for the worst of it, I guess.
Yesterday they reported they had like 750.
I think right now there's 400,
which is wild. Final Fantasy Rebirth came out, so you kind of would, especially on PlayStation 5, you would expect those numbers to take a bit of a hit. I know they're totally 2 different player bases.
Sure, but there's some
Dune's
overlaps
out,
there for
people
sure.
go and see Dune,
of course.
This game, I was kind of critiquing it in the terms of like, it's wild that Sony really didn't give Arrowhead the support that they ended up needing.
Sure.
They did, but like they just didn't. You can't put it on them for like, hey, we need to spend X amount on servers. It's like, whoa, hold up. This is a $40 game. Like, there's not a ton of buzz before release. We're gonna see how you do here.
No,
and
absolutely.
We'll fix it.
Listen, I totally take that critique, Gooch. I think that's like an absolutely fair one, to be honest. I just think it's a good problem to have.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not like they just can't get their 100,000 people, and they really seem to kind of... They were actively working to fix it. They were actively communicating about how they were trying to fix it. And like you said, we're on the other side of it. I think if we were 2 weeks in...
It was like a week and a half.
Oh,
right?
the game's been out for a month at this point.
If we were a month in...
still there...
I'd be right there with you.
Right.
Now you
gotta be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
It's been a month.
I guess I don't necessarily blame Sony. Like, it does seem weird to me that they missed it this much, where they're like, they didn't necessarily seem to know what they had on their hands to a degree.
I don't know.
But like,
there wasn't. I didn't feel like there was a ton of buzz.
No, I know, but
there was not
leading up.
But I know, and I agree with that.
It just blew up, and it's like, oh.
But that's because I think Sony wasn't marketing it really that much. I think they kind of did one thing, and I can't imagine that the playtesters weren't on this being like, this is fucking fun. And you know what I mean?
And the thing is, another kind of Sony first. This is the first time day and date PC.
Sure. Yeah.
They've never done that.
And I think it makes sense for a game like this, for sure.
I think it shows that maybe they need to start doing it with all their games.
Yeah, I think
Sony
I think for their live service, you'll see day and date PC every single time.
Right. I'm not sure what and I wouldn't even say this is a live service game, right, guys?
It's a more classic. It is. I think
it is.
Live service covers so much now.
Yeah,
it's a live service, and the
very
fact of that it's a. No, I actually don't even think it is. I think it's a super broad term that just encompasses most multiplayer games these days, because it's continuously live.
Yeah,
the idea is you are going to be continuously updating it. I don't think it's live service in the way of how
basically what I'm asking is, are we going to get a new battle pass next month?
Yeah, I think absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it does have systems.
And they seem to really have ramped up plans for like what's coming next. And we see mechs being deployed places and like vehicles and stuff.
Apparently, like they're just the way. What's funny? They have one game master. There's one person on their dev team named Joel, and he's the game master for this entire game.
He's the man.
So everything that happens is Joel. But people have been landing in the game, and randomly there's mechs.
Yeah, or
So,
or vehicles or something.
So it's like seems like they're just like
Planting,
randomly
yeah.
planting them.
That's cool.
No,
for,
yeah,
like,
and
the
they
people
seem
to
to have
test,
plans
for
for this
players
for
to
sure.
test.
Yeah, and that's great. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I would not have assumed they're not going to support the game.
And listen, I will say though, I'm sorry to interject on the currencies. This is the most
Streamlined.
not even
don't have to,
there's
like-
3 currencies. One's like this blue currency that you use to buy armors from the store. One is the currency you use to buy stratagems, and then you have all your samples. But like you can unlock all of them without buying any. You don't have to buy any, and like that's because usually there's a currency that you can only buy, and that allows
Mortal
you to buy.
Kombat has
yeah.
So the way
yeah.
the way their battle pass works is like it's tiered by I think there's 10 levels or so.
For their main, so there's a free battle pass, and then there's one that you can buy.
Sure.
But you can buy it with we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So
You buy with in-game currency.
Yeah.
and
That
you
you
get
that you unlock. Yeah.
So the way that the battle pass works is you get war bonds from finishing missions and stuff like that. And each level, level 1, there's like maybe 6 things to buy.
Okay.
But level 2, it's like you have to spend 20 war bonds to unlock level 2. So you have to
So it's
buy
not
the stuff.
like an XP progression. It's like a progression
There
to
is
the
an XP
currency to
progression.
buy the
there is
the
yeah.
level?
So there's an XP progression that unlocks
Right,
I think
I know you have
guns
a
and
level,
stuff.
but I mean, like usually battle pass is like, oh, you get like an Apex, you get the stars to get the next thing,
And you
your-
kind of
your
are with
dailies
the-
and weeklies give you a certain amount of stars to get to the next level.
Again,
So
I
it's
just
like
think it's
XP.
not. Oh God, excuse my language. Fucking you over a barrel. Like it's just laid
Sure.
out in a way that is reasonable and you can and attainable. Like you know what I mean? Like you can use all the free battle, like we just said. You can get currency from the free battle pass that they give you to buy the paid battle pass.
Mm-hmm.
On each level, you get 100 whatever currency, blue currency, and that blue currency is what you use to.
Like you can't save your war bonds. Like I'm saving this for something on level 4 or 5. It's like no, you can't because you won't get to level 4 or 5 if you don't spend.
If you don't
your war
spend the
bonds.
war bonds to get these guns.
Gotta spend
And
the
you
war
get-
bonds. Give it
yeah.
back
Yeah.
to the democracy
Yeah.
and the
No,
people
absolutely.
and the fighting.
One thing to bring up the fighting just real quick. I do love the hybrid third person, first person.
Yeah.
Okay,
with-
it's a
So it's third person over the shoulder, but you click right stick and that brings you into a first person view.
Okay,
on
so
the thing.
like I know like some weapons in Gears of War do that.
Yeah.
Like the sniper.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe,
think
maybe
every
it's not
single
a bad,
weapon
Maybe
on
it's a
the-
bad example.
no, that makes sense.
Because like not all assault rifles, like the Lancer has
Right.
like a
No, you
holographic,
can-
but it doesn't go in like
and
that.
yeah, it doesn't go first
Yeah,
person.
you can trigger every weapon in the game to be first person.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
cool.
it works better because there's like this, especially to the bigger guns, like there's real heavy drag to them. So like when there's an arm cannon or what is it called, the auto cannon,
The autocannon.
and when you're moving in third person, you have your reticle, which are like 2 lines, but there's a circle. That's like where your gun's actually going because your guy's like fucking trying to move it. So like there's like you're turning your camera, but the gun's slightly dragging behind. So you're gonna have better accuracy in first person with a lot of these things. But like when I'm using like the machine gun, I'm in third person, just
Yeah.
like it's so good.
I use it mostly for the oh man, what is it? Shoot. The it's the railgun. I use
Right.
it mostly for the railgun.
I need to get the railgun.
Which is like when you get the railgun, there's safe mode that's automatically set to, and then you click it off and you click on to unsafe mode. And how unsafe mode works is like safe mode, it only goes up to 50% of its power, and there's like this red thing that builds up on the side of the gun, but it can't go any higher than that. So you can hold it as long as you want, it'll stay at 50 and you shoot it. Unsafe mode is like you hold it and it goes all the way to 100, but if
So it kind
You
of
hold
like
it to-
burns
yeah.
out.
yeah, but if you hold up to 100, it'll kill
Explode,
you. It'll
yeah.
plug you up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that
And the
makes
auto
sense.
gun will
That's,
explode.
that's an interesting mechanic.
It'll automatically kill you.
Is the weapon variety good? I mean,
Pretty
I
hefty
know
so
there
far,
seems to be
yeah.
2 enemy factions.
So you get shotguns. So there's like your main arm and then your side arm. You can get like a little mini Uzi so far for your side arm. I'm sure there's more. And then you have like shotguns and assault rifles mostly.
And there's a sniper, and there's like
But that's one you call down, right? Like,
no.
There is a sniper you can.
there's-
I know there's like an assault, like a single action assault rifle. I might not have gotten
Yeah,
the
there's
sniper
a
yet.
marksman rifle in
Right,
the
yeah.
in the battle pass.
So it's like a single action assault rifle. But yeah, man, the gameplay is just it's fucking hectic. Like you feel like
Yeah.
you're, especially on the automaton worlds. I feel there's just I was saying this before I came. Like I'm in the middle of a battlefield. Someone threw down a fucking stratagem in front of me. There's explosions going off. Everyone's approaching me from the back. I'm just trying to survive. Like on the. It's so
crazy.
good.
It's a shame this game came out when it did because I feel like I just had a lot on my plate at the time, and then we had Banishers come out, Tomb Raider, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm just like, I'm like getting games. I don't want to like get another game.
Sure.
And I know it's $40, but like I feel like the fact that I haven't picked up this game is just a Guccism at its finest.
I mean, but it's
my
like a game
weird
where, like,
excuses of
You can, like, you hop in for an hour and a half, and you get your fill, and you're like, all right, I'll come back tomorrow. Like, it's not a game where you have to.
And I guess I'm looking to see how long you guys hold out. If you're there in 3 months, great, and you're gonna play.
Sounds good.
You know,
right, we'll
like
see you in
it
3
is the
months.
truth, because like
Yeah.
right.
No, it's fair.
He
Listen,
complains we don't play multiplayer games, then, and when we ask
would
him to
be
play
funny if, like, yeah.
multiplayer games, he's
because
like,
if you bought this $40
I
multiplayer
gotta
game,
play a 30-year-old game, Tomb Raider 1, right now.
I guess it's because like if I was getting it from beforehand, it'd be different. But the fact that I didn't is like just why I haven't gotten it.
it's a classic Guccism.
If it was on Xbox, you'd be playing.
I think you would.
No, I don't. Think I didn't get grounded.
You'd be
Thieves, like,
champion.
fuck off. One thing I do want to go back to. I think Sony needs to retool what they're thinking with this PC release. I mean, we see Xbox releasing.
Oh yeah, I did want. I'm glad you brought that
games,
back up.
What's it?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They have been releasing.
What's the
like,
term when it comes to both?
Day and date.
Day and date.
Oh, day and date.
On both.
I
I think Sony needs to stop with the year release of Last of Us 2 on PC and then the year release of Horizon
this
and
is
Final
what I'm gonna
Fantasy
say.
and all
I
these
don't know.
games.
I think the first-person games, like the
Sure.
story-driven games,
You think?
are gonna have a time delay for PC.
Okay.
I think all the money people at Sony are sitting right on that side with Gooch being like, especially after this.
Well,
Being
I think
but
for
don't like
multiplayer.
this.
Because I think the launch would be very different if it wasn't on PC.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, for sure. I still
PC
100%.
is the the flex.
I think there would have been a fire, but not the fucking bonfire we are seeing right now, for sure.
Yeah.
And also just the money coming in. Like I said, I think the bean counters over at Sony are like, yeah, why wouldn't we put everything? Even these first like single player, like story driven experiences, like just because. But I don't think they will. I do think the higher ups know that it is still like
Yeah, I think
a
there's-
place, a reason to buy your PlayStation. It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
And it sells hardware, which they still, that's still a big thing for them. Do I think eventually? Sure. Do I think in the near future?
I think it'll be like, it won't be a year. It might be like maybe 6 months or
3
even
months.
less than that.
But again, I
Yeah.
really do think the bean counters are probably sitting there being like, well, why shouldn't we do this? Like
I
they're
think
trying
for
because
every
like
single new multiplayer game that they're
well, for the
gonna-
multiplayer,
it's
yeah.
gonna
I
be.
think it's because they can generate hype again. But Forbidden West comes out at the end of March. But like I'm like, is there really hype for Forbidden West to come out
People
again?
will play it, but like
Yeah, let's get it on PC. It's gonna be
Yeah.
better. I'm like,
it is a beautiful. It's gonna look fucking.
Well,
incredible
yeah, I'm sure
on
it's gonna
PC.
play. I'm sure it's gonna play
Again,
great.
I
I know
think-
somebody who's like been waiting for the PC launch, and like that's totally fine.
Sure.
But I'm just like, can you always have those second wins with every game? Death Stranding did it like 4 times. PC, and then the director's cut on PS5, and then the director's cut on PC, and then they have the mobile version,
Yeah.
and like they're just like not
Kojima
that this
Well, and I
not
feel
that this
like
is
with those
negative, but
Fucking
like
cow dry.
well, and I think with third
Yeah,
party
I mean,
games like
for
that,
sure.
like a lot of them always end up, like a good amount of them seem to always end up eventually getting onto the other system, even just and everything.
it is funny to also
Aside from
see.
Final Fantasy Remake.
Yeah, that's the only one that really, and that was
right.
like something
Like,
at the
with the
beginning.
whole
They did say they had
there's-
a,
right.
I thought it was a timed release. They
They
specified at the
did.
beginning.
That was the plan.
But
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah,
What's
but
going
then
on?
again, Octopath 1 is exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah, that's just
and
weird.
the sequel is on PlayStation. What?
Yeah.
And that's Square. That's all within Square.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like, that
Square
doesn't make
being weird,
any
man.
sense at
It's
all.
just Square
But again,
being
like, I
weird.
don't understand how you make a deal as big as Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII, and then have like the smaller titles like fucking off wherever the hell they want to be, and it's just like weird. But it is funny to see, like, I know, what's the CEO's name?
Oh, I don't know.
I follow him on Twitter.
No, not Hiroki Totoki.
Oh,
Of who?
oh, yeah.
Of what?
Hiroki are you saying of
PlayStation.
Sony?
The guy who's leaving. What's his name?
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Hiroki
thought you
Totoki
meant
is the new
Helldivers.
guy.
I thought you
Yeah,
meant
but
Helldivers
Jim
CEO.
Ryan's like last initiative was this. We're gonna get Bungie and we're gonna bring
Sure.
them in and we're gonna cultivate some like good live service games. And it's funny to see that actually happen the exact opposite way with some random team you guys had in your back pocket who ended up making a smash hit. I'm not saying that Arrowhead is better than Bungie in terms of live service, but it's funny to see this whole grand plan of we're gonna get like the best dev in multiplayer on our team, and they're gonna cultivate our lesser known studios to make games as good as they do. And that
Can I
didn't
tell
happen
you
at
what I
all
think it is?
for the first one?
Can I tell you? It's because they weren't paying attention to it and they let them actually do their fucking job. And I think that's what even happened. Like another example of that is Spider-Verse, the first one. Sony didn't give a shit about that movie. They thought it was going to be nothing. And it ended up being a fucking smash hit because no one was in the editing bay like, hey, you think you really need that? Or maybe that's not maybe the live service element that we need in this. But like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I do think that part of the success of this is being left alone to your device. Not to say Sony's like inherently bad at doing and they make things worse by being involved.
I don't think they're overly involved. Like you look at like their first party.
No,
I
totally
out,
I totally agree with that.
You're just
I shouldn't
you're
say
just
that
thinking
Sony
just, like, maybe
as like a
they're being-
generality. Just I think with companies, I guess I'm saying that. But
Yeah.
and also
I
you
hear
can't
your
beat,
sentiment.
You can't
Like, you
beat
see it in movies all the time.
exactly. You can't beat word of
WB.
mouth though. I think.
And then it's
truthfully.
funny, Dune comes out,
Yeah.
WB.
Well,
movie.
but that's like That's like
Yeah,
a
but
few
that's
different people.
different.
Yeah,
very.
Yeah,
But
they're like
I-
there, but they're not.
I do think the golden lesson from this is you cannot beat word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean
reputation.
the memes that came out like
Yeah,
this
and
game
how
blew
it
up
just
on the
spread. Like
internet.
again,
Right.
there was no marketing for this at all.
The
And
people
it just
marketing
caught.
for
Stuff,
you.
but it's
Yeah.
like-
I mean, like I'm sorry, very sparse. I should
yeah,
say.
but no,
like,
you're right. It wasn't
just
like-
it didn't feel like it was really being pushed hard, and it just caught, and they leaned into it, and then Sony supplied them the resources that they then needed, and I am happy to see that.
I'm
for sure.
interested to see what this game looks like in a year because I feel like
dude, there's already
I can only imagine.
There's already teasing of like another entire
Faction.
faction coming in.
And this
Yeah.
wasn't 8. This game was, I think, once. It
Development
was developed in
hell.
8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
mean,
that
this
was-
is the first game, but just it's like it's so funny because it's like
It's got
a
elements
completely
from the-
different game, but it's the same game.
Helldivers 1 was like an RTS.
And over
Yeah.
like,
and it was
overhead, yeah.
top down.
Top
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
but it has all the ideas for sure, like and like the stratagems and everything's there.
Yeah.
But it just couldn't be more different, but the same.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny. Like you're gonna Gucci's gonna be like, but
Let's see.
Greg Miller, kind of funny, was a big fan
yeah.
of the first, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I
And he
remember
was
talking
talking
about
about the success of the second. He's like I never would have imagined that this game, like as like a hardcore Helldivers 1 player,
Right.
Like who was like
Sure.
who going into Helldivers 2, he was like, yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know how. I don't,
yeah, like God only knows.
It's not Helldivers 1 for sure.
It's a
No,
very
no,
different
but-
gameplay
and that was
loop,
really
yeah.
clear
he was
that this
al-
game
he was
was
also
different.
like, he's like, I don't know how long. I don't know if anyone's gonna want to play with me on it. And he's like, and it just blew up. He's like, I never would have imagined as like a hardcore Helldivers 1 fan.
Some
this
things
game
you just
would be,
can't
like,
pinpoint too. Yeah, it's
as
just
popular and
right.
good as this game.
Like, I don't think From Software realized Dark Souls 1 was going to blow up like it did.
I mean, even Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like that,
I mean,
the way that
Elden
made
Ring
me
a little less so.
we knew Elden Ring was gonna be fucking awesome.
But well, sure,
Yeah.
but
Let's be
no one
real.
expected that.
Can you pick up my hoodie on the?
But no one like expected that to break like
Yeah,
the
site-
normie
zeitgeist,
zeitgeist
yeah.
like it did. Like, of
Yeah.
course, it was going to be an amazing and awesome game.
because
but like,
they always have the.
but normal. Like my brother was like, "What's Elden Ring?"
yeah,
You know what I mean?
What's good about Helldivers 2 is it can break the normie zeitgeist from a price perspective as well.
Absolutely,
You know,
dude.
it
The
being
$40 could
$40
not have been perfect.
Yeah, like
More perfect.
games are $70.
and you know, wait till who knows, maybe six months or a year. They put this as a PS Plus game.
True.
I guarantee.
I could see that easily. Yeah.
guarantee.
I mean,
and then it's like
I'd be there.
that,
And
then they
Because
get- then
you
they
would
get a
have
whole
another
nother-
huge
Yeah,
wave of people.
exactly.
And again,
and that's just the scary thing. And I guess I have like, again, it's a Gucciism and it's half like trauma from like getting into multiplayer games and then like just being like, well, I'm going back for like achievements and trophies every
Sure.
so again, but I'm just doing it alone. I like.
there are
Don't judge
lives
me,
on
all right? Just let me
multiplayer
talk.
games.
Let me
though,
live
of
my
course.
life.
Yeah.
Like
trophies. That's all
but
I'm
like,
worried about.
but like, even with Overwatch 2, like I played. We never played, but
because you played on PC.
right. I don't want to hear you.
Can't play comp.
He's like
can't play competitive.
He's like console racist.
No.
We
But
can't play with these.
You'll
these
just get fucked up if you're on
in,
a
PCs.
PC.
in
Yeah.
Overwatch, you can't play competitive cross
but like,
console PC.
I wasn't even going for trophies in Overwatch 2, but I'm like going for my battle pass. I'm like, I'm the only one fucking playing this game. But
But
why
again,
am
I
I
think
doing
it's
this?
Overwatch
Like,
2 also sucks,
this
so.
isn't fun. And
I
like
also
some
think that's
Battlefield
picking your
games,
battles. You know what I mean?
for sure. But like, I always like hate when a multiplayer game doesn't take off, right? Because like, I think I don't know if we talk about this on the podcast a lot, but I know it's brought up often. Battlefield 1
I love Battlefield.
was like,
1.
and that was like before we were like even like
I
kind
know,
of
it was
like
in college, yeah, it
reconnected.
was, like, junior year in
Yeah,
college.
like all of my friends played
were always-
that.
yeah, it
Everyone
was the
played
shit, yeah.
Battlefield 1. Why? I don't know. It just took
It was
off.
fucking
And I
awesome.
was
It was
in
great.
that
Yeah, it was
from
just a great
launch.
game.
And I got Battlefield 2042, and that game obviously flopped at launch. Did you get that?
No, I didn't get it.
But like I was in Austin that weekend, so I had it but didn't play it. And
Yeah, I remember that.
that timeline would have been a lot I would have played that at launch, and I would have played it.
Been
until-
Did you
Still,
return
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think you did.
I
yeah.
tried to return it to Best Buy. They sent it back.
Yeah.
It was
Why?
like you opened it.
Oh, well.
And I didn't even. I put it in my console, installed it, didn't even play it. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna return it, get my money back.
remember that.
And they were like,
no, you opened
Nah.
it. Yeah.
here it is. So it's upstairs.
Good
I
job,
have
idiot.
it.
I mean, well, and the problem
Yeah.
is, dude, like,
what am I gonna do with it? Throw
like
it
when
away?
you-
I don't know,
the-
maybe be down here or something.
No,
the only thing that
I
happens
put it
with-
upstairs. I don't want
You
to.
don't want it up here.
away. God
Yeah,
forbid he
yeah.
accidentally puts it
The
in.
only thing with certain game, like certain multiplayer games too, they're not gonna like when you're like, no one plays Apex with me anymore. It's like, yeah, that game's 3. I'm not. There's
6
a,
years
there's
old.
a, there's
I didn't
cycles.
play Apex,
You know
though.
what I mean? And I'm sure it's still great. And hey, maybe I'm
Or
not
like
gonna,
even Halo.
I'm not
No one's
gonna show
playing Halo with me.
Well,
and I don't
but-
really ask people to because I
That was
Are
Halo's
you
fault.
still playing Halo?
Yeah, here and there.
That was Halo's
that's
fault. I'm sorry. They let that go. They had everyone. in the
I've been
grasp
going
of
in for
their
the
hand.
weekly rewards, and I like the way they do. Excuse me, Battle Pass of. It unlocks you have forever. No
I really do
FOMO,
like that.
No
Yeah.
time to get in
Yeah.
there. I really wish Apex would do a content update because they've been doing their content updates a little different, where they're like not just releasing characters and maps every expansion now. Where they do a patch and it's hey, all the season passes are back and you can play them all on your
Yeah,
own
yeah.
time. I would love that because I think that creates a reason for me to play long term, but not daily. And
I do
jump in when Penza goes, hey, I'm playing Apex with my boys. We need a second one. Do you want to play? Or like I do play Apex with a lot of people and jump in with other those people, but not be forced to play daily because of FOMO.
Yeah.
I do
'Cause I
think
fall into that
though
trap.
that there is something to getting something when no one else can then get it anymore.
I agree.
Because like
sure.
there's parts I
And
remember.
there can be some of those things.
So when
but-
I was playing Red Dead, for instance, I got all of like you for some of the season passes that were only happening at the time. You got like Arthur's outfit.
cool
You got all this, and then like I was like, cool, I have these, and then they just put them on sale. Like
Yeah, it
after a
sucks.
while.
Well,
And
no,
I'm like,
it's like
that
you-
kind of stuff. Like I was here at that time.
Interesting
I got
example, but
you know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
You see the
You know what I
MMOs
mean?
all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
World
for
of
sure.
Warcraft and Final Fantasy
Actually,
14.
I saw a tabard, and I think you might know what I'm talking about. I think it's from like Burning Crusade, and it's a really rare one. I think
Which one was it?
it's a blue or a red one. I know what it looks like. I can see it in my head. I think it's from
It's in his mind's eye.
BC.
Well, I mean, I'm like the ones that I can think of right now are like the
Tabard of like fire or something like that. Maybe I saw it on like a Twitch Prime reward or something
Yeah.
like that, and I'm like, that was a rare one.
but like they have like mounts that only happen during like Oktoberfest that you get in like Black BRD.
Yeah.
And then like you have, I don't know, like the stuff that you get in the Valentine's Day. There's
Yeah.
like the mount that you get.
yeah,
in,
and that's fine. I mean, and Apex
and
has
tabards
those
and
skins.
stuff like that. Like
Do-
I like
do
kind
you-
of stuff like
so
that.
bringing it back to Helldivers, is Helldivers 2 going to do that kind of content? Do you think that they're going to release like, here's your cool $10 outfit? Like I know
I
there's
don't
this
think
this
so.
ODST outfit that is from a
Oh,
Twitch
so that's
shop.
a Twitch shop. Yeah.
I could see
I like
them.
How
that.
did they do that?
I just had to watch a Twitch stream. For
No. How did they get the ODST thing, or did it just look like that?
I think the
look
idea
like-
is
they
just
didn't-
like
I don't think they
inspired.
called
Yeah, I
it.
think
Right.
it's supposed
Okay.
to-
I was like, it wasn't like an official. I'm like,
No.
yeah. Okay. But like, yeah, like how long until they start doing that? Because they're probably.
Well,
You know
but
what?
see,
I want
I-
them to, oh, sorry.
No,
and
please
what
go.
can you buy? in
I want
Helldivers
them
2?
to add I want them to add customization to the armor.
I agree, like color
Color,
palettes and stuff.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because you'll get like armor sets and they're just one color.
But
and
do you
can,
want to
like-
buy that, or do you just want them to add
I
that?
don't. Never
No,
have the
well, so
need
but
to
I
buy
think
it.
they're gonna.
No.
I could see them adding it for the blue. Like if they want to put like a really cool outfit on there for with the blue currency for like whatever 500. I'm okay. Like they seem to have it under control in the way of like, yeah, we'll put this in here, but like that's something you can earn through the game.
Yeah, like,
but
as long as
if
they
you
don't
want to
price
buy
it-
it for like $4, yeah, you can do that. This game does make me want
Yeah.
to like actually. Weirdly enough, spend like it makes
I
me
mean,
feel
I
okay
felt the
with
same way
spending
about
money.
Apex.
You know
what's
what I
annoying
mean?
about Apex is like the Final Fantasy crossover. I went back for that, and I was really
What they
into
do
that.
for that?
They had a ton of like Final Fantasy skins on like characters.
Really?
Like
cool.
Crypto was Cloud, Aerith was Horizon.
That's cool.
It was really cool. But you can't just buy the skin, you have to buy the loot box, and if you buy everything, it's $120. So it's like Jesus Christ, that like
That's
$30.
that's
Like I
ridiculous.
would have, I don't think I would have hesitated. But like dropping like $120 on
insanity.
on the loot box.
Can you buy? So it's like you can't buy them individually.
right?
That's
It is funny how certain monetizations work. I downloaded, this is a quick aside, I downloaded the Microsoft Flight Simulator to play with the Thopter. And like on the marketplace, there's certain planes you buy on there for like $90.
Yeah, it's insane.
And even like, so with
What?
Yeah, like it's like, and then there are ones, I mean,
Dude,
you guys know about
guess
Star
that
Citizen, right? With
Yeah.
how much those
Oh,
ships
yeah.
cost, and you can buy ships that like are being made, they aren't even made yet, for like 40 grand.
Yeah.
Like real life money.
Dude, Star Citizen's a joke. in my
It's
opinion.
wild. But
I
That's a rabbit hole that I love to like dive into.
I wish I
Yeah.
knew.
Not
I wish,
necessarily play, but just like
just,
talk,
yeah.
just like learn about it.
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
I agree.
fascinating.
it is, I totally agree.
but yeah, Helldivers. Yeah, I just be seeing in like it's like not even a year. Like what I was talking about, I'd like to see this game a year from now. Not even from the gameplay perspective or the crowd that's still there, but like what happened, like how much monetization is this going to gain?
I don't
like
think it's
what's
gonna-
going to change.
I don't think it's gonna be
because
crazy.
Sony has to be targeting some sort of money. You know, how
absolutely.
can we make more money off Helldivers?
No,
you know?
absolutely, and I think there will definitely be some stuff like that. I so far I'm gonna trust the developers to know how to implement that in a way that
And the,
makes
like,
sense.
The dev team and the CEO especially is like they're very vocal on on
but
social media.
and I have to say this: we've seen not that being vocal is bad, not being vocal is bad, but it bit Xbox in the ass a lot, and they stopped being vocal. And
Well, they have. Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's
again a
like-
whole nother conversation in the way of like they needed to be vocal because they're behind.
yeah,
They need to tell people what's going
for
on.
sure. Yeah, and I mean, I guess that is a different
like the CEO,
situation.
like for Helldivers literally said like when they were going through the server issues for that first like week into 2 weeks, he was like, hey, like someone was like mentioned something like if I spend $40 and I couldn't get in, I'd be pissed. He'd be like, so would I. He's like, I would recommend.
Don't
he's
buy
like,
the game.
Don't
Wait
he's
for a
He's
moment,
like,
yeah.
don't buy the game. Wait for us to fix it.
yeah,
Like,
and that's and here's the issue with that. Not the issue of saying it, the long term issue of success. When they make their next game and they're a bigger studio, they're not going to be doing that anymore.
What do you mean? They'll be prepared.
No, well, yeah, it might not happen, but this Arrowhead is going to grow because of this. They're going to, hopefully. There's a lot of layoffs going on right now. Not even just
They
in
did
gaming.
talk about how they're not really planning on adding anything soon, though, to like because of that very reason, because people are hiring. and
Right. I
firing.
mean, as they get bigger,
Yeah.
they make a bigger game with a bigger budget. Their company gets bigger. They're not as communicative. I've seen that happen internally with my company.
Sure.
Like as your company grows, things just change.
Absolutely.
They're not as receptive and they're not as communicative. And like your CEO tweeting at you, that's a wild concept.
For sure.
Right?
And again,
Like, the fact that is
well,
a
it's the
situation.
game director, right? It's not the CEO.
No, it's the CEO.
Oh. But
Yeah,
either way,
that's
I
crazy.
think like in a
Joel is
situation
the
like
game. Come
that,
on.
like where you're just worrying about a game compared to like an entire conglomerate like Microsoft or like Xbox.
Right.
like,
I'm trying to think
it's
of
so
like
different.
I don't think Larian was that like that with Baldur's Gate 3. Not that there were issues like, and it's funny because like did he tweet because there were issues, not because of the game's success, right? Like there's two different.
Sure.
No, but he was just like he was literally just like chatting with people. Like,
Yeah,
fans
yeah,
on-
but like,
about the game and stuff
yeah,
like that.
I like, but like, what I'm saying is like, you're like that won't stay that way, which sucks.
Sure.
I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe it will.
Maybe
though.
not.
Yeah, maybe it will.
I
Yeah,
agree
right.
with you, Gooch. That there's a good chance that it won't.
Yeah.
But like
because
there's
of the success of the game is
sure, and
basically
as
what I'm
things get
saying.
larger. But I think part of the fact that it's been so successful is how communicative they've been, and I think that works for a company when they are really just like trying to give you updates on like we're trying to get the servers going.
Yeah.
Right now, some very solid and approachable goals that they are being like
he
we're
went-
getting this.
He went into like one of them. I don't know if it was him or someone else on the dev team went into like hey, a deep dive into why like it's not as easy as like paying these servers.
Not as
They're
easy
like,
as-
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
need to make sure like I don't know if it was
Everything's
a CPU
secure,
or something.
yeah.
They're like that our back end can handle even like this
Yeah,
new
for
server.
sure.
It's not
Like,
just
And
adding
I
servers
know
on, yeah.
a claim I was saying it's like, hey, like why isn't Sony just helping them out? I mean, I think that is
They
true.
are though.
I think
It just
that is
takes
the
time.
truth.
But it's not just like
right. I think that
yeah.
is the truth, but it's not as instantaneous. Before I kind of like, and I have a point I want to end on or open it up to end on. Do you guys have any big things that you didn't get to?
The one thing I want to say that I love about the game is like it feels like that the player base as a whole is working together, and because we have like those orders from the commander or whatever, like
right.
hey, we need to liberate this planet, right? And like we have like a time limit to liberate the planet. And so I saw someone tweeting there's 130,000 Helldivers right now, trying to liberate this planet within the 45 minutes left that we had to do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, will we do it? And we liberated it, and you sign on, and we got 45 war medals and like 10K.
It really
like, we
is
got a
wild.
shit ton of rewards because the entire player
is
base
that
was
what
like,
I was wondering why I got all these war medals. I'm like, what happened? And
we
then,
liberated one of the planets.
that's awesome.
We also have other ones.
I
where it's
love
like-
that. That reminds me of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. Remember with like the
Right.
I don't think. Well, it was just no. Galactic Readiness was a like an all player thing for the multiplayer.
And I just think PvE in general is just such a different beast. And like those, I've never really. This might be my first like extraction shooter that I've really gotten into.
You play any Division?
Not really. No.
They did a little bit of extraction.
Yeah,
stuff in
you're a big
Division
Division
too.
guy.
But it's a truly fantastic game, and for $40, I think it's such an easy entry fee that I can't even help but say, yeah, go buy it.
Yeah, and it's going on CEO. He said he's like we're not. Someone asked him about PvP. He's like,
No.
we are not going to put that in. We have no intentions of ever
Yeah,
putting that in the game.
then they know their scope and they know
Absolutely.
what they want to do.
Well, and they know the
what
type
they
of
wanna
community I
execute.
think they want to cultivate. Because when you get into that PvP, for better or for worse, you do get some more like
It's
clashes.
a different
For sure.
environment.
For sure.
It's a different game.
Yeah.
So let's end it on this, and maybe you answered it, and I kind of missed it. What do you want to see from Helldivers 2 in the next, I'll say 6 months?
Some new planets would be great. Maybe some new environments. I think stratagems would be big. I think just, right now, they're kicking butt. They seem to be adding in these things to like tease things. I think if they start adding in vehicles and stuff, we're going to need bigger maps.
Okay, so they don't have...
Vehicles are not in it yet.
Some maps,
No
depending on the
vehicles.
mission, are bigger than others.
Yeah.
Sure. But there's
They're not like
vehicles.
huge for sure.
I mean,
Like,
there's enemy tanks.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
automatons of tanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but player control.
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
So yeah, I would love to see that. I think the maps would have to be bigger because they look rather large on your comm link or whatever.
But then, like, you're
then
kinda
when you're
running
running
across,
across
yeah.
them, you're like, oh, it's really not nearly as far as I'm thinking.
It's like, oh, it took me like 2 minutes to run across the map. All right, from like I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like checked how long it took. To
And
see,
you're
like,
just-
'cause
you're
you're
wa-
looking at your timer.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, it takes 2 minutes to run across. We can knock this out and get back in time
Easily,
to
yeah.
extract. Stuff like that.
But yeah, I think just expand upon it in natural ways.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly.
they're gonna.
Yeah,
Other
Penza.
factions are coming.
Yeah.
Just to keep adding, keep adding content. Keep making it, interesting for us to come back.
Okay. So
I could see it as a game where it's like, I've been playing almost every day now. But like I could see like, I might not play for a few days, and then it's like, oh, they added this. It's like, all right, I'm gonna
jump back in, yeah.
I'm hopping in, and it's just so easy to pick up because there's really no skill gap in it.
And if you're playing with like higher level people, they just have better stratagems, so they can use them to help you. And like, say I want to call you in an autocannon after I call in mine.
Right. It doesn't have an issue where, say, like an Overwatch or any multiplayer game where, you're joining with your high-level buddies and maybe there's an issue and there's a skill issue between, you and your friends and the other team is, like, on your level.
For sure. And don't get me
It's
wrong.
nice
like,
to not have to deal with that.
Definitely. And don't get me wrong, like a level 16 versus a level 1, it's definitely you're way more
level
well
one
equipped
has,
as like a
any
set,
strategy.
or even like a 4. Yeah, I think you start out with like 3 or 4. But yeah, you just start getting so much more. You get like there's so many weapons. The Watchdogs, which is like a little robot that follows you and shoots a laser. There's like cannons and stuff. There's so much, and I think the stratagems are where we're going to see the biggest expansion, and new biomes and stuff. I think for sure.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, I think that wraps it up.
Absolutely, guys. But one thing I will say before we wrap it up here, there is a mechanic in this where you can have a co-load. So with the autocannon, you need to have like a backpack that has ammo. If someone's behind you, you can keep it going and they can load you as you're just continuously
Yeah, so,
firing.
like, you both get
And
down
it's the
and, like,
same for the
it's like-
rocket launcher. Like, so
it's
I
like
can
an
come up,
autocannon
like he has his
as
rocket
well.
launcher on his, I take
He's
him
like
off and I load.
cooperative for some reason that word
Yeah.
wasn't coming out. If these cooperative gameplay elements, that's cool.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
don't like sometimes I'm not really sure, like I'm kind of thinking like in a World War II game where like MGs would be operated by 2 people, the guy carrying the ammo and the guy shooting. I don't think that's ever been implemented in any World War II game necessarily like that, where like
Sure.
you need 2 people to operate an MG or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I mean that did obviously, like you're saying, happen in the war, right? Because you'd need like someone to load your weapon,
Right,
to
or like
yeah.
with your sniper, you would have someone scout for you.
right.
I mean, we saw it last night.
We did.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, in Dune.
God. All right, and also everyone go see Dune. That's the
I
last
mean,
thing
yeah.
we'll
Our
fuck.
review. By the time this review is
How about a
out,
Dune crossover and Helldivers?
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah, go watch
absolutely.
our Dune review. Our next game, Penza will be on that. We're gonna be reviewing Baldur's Gate 3, so look forward to that.
BG3.
But Trio,
Absolutely.
play us out, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching with us live. What does that mean, Gooch, to play us out? I'm sorry. I had to just
We'll do it live.
fuck it. Thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your favorite service. We're on all the social medias as well, at Delco Nerds on everything with an @sign, as well as a Facebook page, Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. If you guys can like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think of Helldivers in the comments down below. We want to hear what you're thinking. We want to hear where you've been dropping. How much have you been fighting for democracy? Or are you a pussy? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, like me, I guess.
I guess so. But yeah, please feel free to email us as well, delconerds@gmail.com with all your comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. And you can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, for Penza, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.
Spill oil.